Looks like you found yourself protecting me again, Toga. I'm so weak. The words uttered from Deku after he tackled Toga, trying to stop her from stabbing Bakugo. Bakugo looks back in shock as Deku had seemingly tackled air and was talking to nothing. As Deku continues, however, Toga, you have to go. If they know you're here, they'll what? Just go. Now, Toga. Also, what about Bak? Shh. We have to get you to hospital now. He's like, we have a grandma. She's like, and they have doctors. He's like, true. So basically, he's taken into the AR or some shit, and Bakugo is highly scolded. Deku's hair was almost burned off. However, only his arms are charred, completely burned. The nurse that was housing him was a very pretty young woman. His mother was crying in the ER, but as she left, the woman also left, leaving for Toga to come in. Toga slipped in through the window, just how Deku would always, every single night. Deku finally awoke to her hand on his. Memories coming from her past. Everything. Some things not shown to him. Times that were cut out. Everything. She says, I trust you, okay? As if. He looks up, finally getting up from his sleep. He looks up to her saying, you trust me? Really? She says, as if. Don't say it like that. Toga, please. Toga, this is serious. You almost murdered Bakugo. Don't you understand? I understand. It was for you. I know it was for me, Toga. I know everything is for me. And everything I do too is for you, but what? You love me? I learned the meaning of love. It's nothing. Toga, you need to tell me the truth. What I can tell something is eating you. Something. You know you can tell me. I trust you with everything. Everything? Then why are you here? I'm becoming a hero. How about we start with you being a vigilante? You didn't trust me with that, did you? Toga. So why should I trust you? If you can't even kiss me, how do I know? If you won't even touch me, how do I know? Goodbye. Don't go, Raka! So, that's her name, as she falls from the sky. It peers back to Deku. Deku realizing that he just said Uraka. He says, shit! I didn't... no. I said Uraka. Fuck! As he bashes his arm into the wall, which hurts him quite a lot. After all, the burns are still bright on his arm. He can still feel the warmth coming off of them. It's intolerable. His whole being is scratchy. Everything in between hurts. Everything that he touches is sensitive. Every single part of his body is cauterized. He can't let her go. He's ass naked right now, by the way. That's when All Might and Bakugo walk into the room. Young Midoriya, or whatever the fuck he usually says. Young Deku. Why are you ass naked right now? That is sus, bro. As Bakugo's like, what the fuck? And he's like, give me your clothes now. He's like, fine, whatever, I'll just use one of the capes. As he ties the doctor's cape around him, he dashes outside the window, breaking it this time, unlike how she had daintily left. He immediately jumps to the rooftops, searching, trying to feel for where she's going, and she's going straight back in the direction of her own house. He dashes from rooftop to rooftop, getting faster and faster as his weariness starts to grow. What could she have done? What have I done? As he continues to dash along the rooftops, faster and faster. I wasn't there for her. I'll be here now. I'm here now. As he dashes faster and faster, the wind starts to hurt his face, but he doesn't care. The feeling, the sensation, it burns him. It tingles. It feels like 100 Charlie horses in 1 minute over all of his body. He doesn't care, though. He continues on. He strides until he finally makes it to the house. However, it's all in flames. Blue flames. Everything burnt to a crisp. The symbol of his defeat. Something that he needed her to defeat, fire, was now burning everything that stood with them. And it was his fault. He was too late. He just didn't see it. He sits down, watching the fire stoke. The tingles, they fade away, for he doesn't care anymore. The pain doesn't matter compared to what his heart is feeling. He feels her heart as he focuses. It's in pain. It's in shambles. What did he do? What good could I have done? He looks up to the midnight sky as it all burns away, and all he looks in to see is a knife covered with blood. It all falls down and tumbles as police start to show up on the scene. Firefighters first. All that the house is charred with all the families outside. No one was hurt. I would only assume so. As he falls to the ground and checks in with the police don't even believe him. They think that he's just a random citizen. As he puts up his sort of heroes association sort of thing, because he is working special ops. He talks with the police, telling them about everything he knows, but nothing about Uraraka. Of course, the police will figure out themselves. She was the only one in that household with a villainous quirk, or anything that could lead to something like that. What am I doing? I can't even protect her, even if I tried. Everything I do will lead to my defeat. That isn't what she would want, though. I know what she would want. I feel what she wants. It's not that. What do you want? What does she want? As he looks up to the midnight sky as the fire's embers burn slightly as they fade into the midnight cool sky. He leaves in dread, in doubt. To be perfectly honest, not the greatest. He wakes up the next day, starting his morning routine and going back to UA. He always gets there early, 6 a.m. on the dot. He always makes sure that it's the one thing that keeps him going. It makes sure that everybody comes after him. Even Ida. Even his master. However, his master was nowhere to be found. Eraserhead, they called him. What a silly name. Almost a joke. Wait. Where could he be? As he looks down the corner, he sees, well, him and Miss Joke talking. What did you come here for, then? If you weren't here to discuss hero business, then. Nothing. Well, if you ask me, it's a bit of a joke. Of course it is, Miss Joke. Aizawa! What could you possibly be doing with Miss Joke? It's nothing, kid. Drop it, please. I've had enough joking around today. A joke, sir? Now that's surprising. Shop it with the semantics, bro. We should start with the class, alright? You look like shit. Yeah, no shit. Shit indeed. I'm getting banned off YouTube. Anyways, they head into the class waiting for everybody to get there. Everybody comments on his behavior like it's so odd. He thought he was normally like this. However, he was actually a nice and open person during the day he had never realized. Everybody noticed it in the classroom when he's quiet. When he's quiet, that means everybody's quiet. After all, he would give something for everybody to talk about. He was a topic starter. Just like that fire starter, am I right? Miss Joke comments. However, Deku's a little bit sensitive on this subject, which Aizawa informs Miss Joke. However, Miss Joke is like, wait, what? You actually are connected to that? He's like, don't instigate, please, Miss Joke. Jesus, I shouldn't even tried in the first place. Tried what now, Mr. Aizawa? You have some explaining to do. You've never come to me in the first place. So they spend arguing this whole entire time. Deku finds it extremely rude, however, can't even talk right now. He's so out of it. Everything feels not real. Everything feels a dream. He's nonsensical right now. His eyes juddering around. He can't even control himself on something. Until he finally finds the clock. Ticking time. Tick, tick, tick. He watches it as carefully as he can. Seeing it go by and by and by, and then almost a month is gone. He couldn't even tell. He had still done everything. His body was stronger. His mind was absent, but his body was much, much stronger. Everything that had happened in real time, but for him, it was like time just collapsed. Whatever. It's probably just something along the lines of depression. Nothing new for me, at least. But, wait, what? I've never been depressed like this. What could it be? Could it be Toga? That could be it. She's used to this. She might know. If only. He calls her phone multiple times a day. He checks how many times he's called her, almost 110. Wow. Absent-minded, I guess. He looks up to see Aizawa talking about the UA, sort of trials things. The different things. As he goes on the bus, and then they end up at UA. Aizawa, of course, explains, however, Deku's mind is still absent. You see, he still only looks at the clock. His mind is still there. His body is at the UA. Until portals start to open up. Deku finally snaps out of it. Maybe something's there. However, no. It's just villains. He's seen that on a daily by this point. He's seen so many villains, so his mind flicks back to that clock. Everything continues on like that. Aizawa starts fighting as Deku starts to make his way down. Almost absent. Like he was a zombie of some sort. Every villain that came his way got their wrists flicked in the air and then punched up. Each one got reflected almost as easily as they came. He was a machine. A killing machine. War-bound to everyone. He was, of course, teleported to the water zone first. As he got out of the water zone easily, he just picked up both of them, fucking Asui and Mineta, and jumped straight to say, sure, no need for anything else. Literally, it's fine. So they just leave as Deku leaves traps in the ground right behind them for the villains to be caught up in. They go off just to save other people. Deku just immediately starts walking forward. Both Mineta and Asui just assume that he's in his usual state as he just continues to walk forward. He continues to beat every single villain that he sees in his way, until one of them uses their quirk to jet forward a knife at the speed of light. As he threw it, it jets straight into his freaking rib cage, opening up some blood and blood splurting everywhere. But almost as if his body was cold-blooded, nothing happened. He wasn't bleeding. He wasn't anything. It just stuck into him like a corpse. He just looked straight at the guy and immediately appeared right behind him, almost as fast as he could. He couldn't even see him. He didn't even feel him. And then his neck was snapped in a second. Deku looks up from the body. Almost all the rest of the villains, scared shitless, they all start running as fast as they can. But they can't run from Deku, as immediately he punches them straight in their spine, his hand almost careening straight through their chest and out, his hand blood-covered, and gore splattered all over his body. By the end of it, it was nothing but a blood field. The bodies lay dormant. That's how he sees it. Until that knife starts slowly coming out of him and sends straight into a direction, straight to where he hears Uraraka's screams. He immediately dashes as fast as he can to Uraraka's side. After all, he knows Uraraka. His brain knows Uraraka. And a knife that was careening straight towards her face, he catches. He looks straight up to the villain as he has his hand straight to her face. Toga. His eyes come out from the stasis, the clock no longer there. Toga? Deku. She falls to the ground from her nose bleeding. Uraraka immediately gets rid of the grip and almost, curb stomps her. Like, Uraraka was fighting for her life and was almost stabbed in the face by Toga. You think that she's going to hold back? Nah, bro. She immediately goes out, and then Deku just straight up knocks her out. He doesn't care who she is. She doesn't care if she thinks that Toga's a bad guy. He looks down to Toga, seeing that Toga's just lying there. Asui walks up behind Deku as Asui's like, what happened here? Is Uraraka alright? And who's that? And Deku says, Toga, what are you doing here? Please, no lies. Toga looks up to him saying, what would you care? You don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I've always cared, Toga. I'm here. I am now here for you. Please just answer me this one question. What are you doing here? I needed money, alright? I'm not pretty enough for the whore factory. Toga. Listen, the bloody knife. The blood on it. Who was it from? I didn't know their name. Who was it from? The hostages. They made me. You understand, Deku, right? You understand that they wouldn't... I couldn't. I'm a murderer, don't you understand, Deku? You poor thing. Pity? What would you want, Toga? Hate? I'm a murderer, don't you understand? She punches his chest, knowing that, well, he was much thousands times stronger than her. Don't you understand? As she starts bawling her eyes out. He says, I don't care. I never did. I know you, Toga. And I'm not going to let something so petty come out like this. Take you away from me. She looks up to him, starting to bawl her eyes out. She hugs onto him. She says, but I can't. He'll kill me. Not before he kills me. You don't understand how powerful he is. He'll kill both of us. He'll kill everybody here if you take me away. That's why. She takes out her knife and puts it to Asui's throat. However, Deku lunges forward and kisses her, sharing all of his memories of every single vigilante moment. Every single moment was not spared. Nothing. Every single moment of loving her, every single moment of worrying, every single moment that he thought that she wasn't doing all right, every single torturous second was shared. And so it was from her too. Everything, the League of Villains, how she had started out just trying to make some money, and then, well, the next thing was villain work. She had no choice. He understands now. Everything was shared. The life became two, and then one. Her hand fell from Asui's throat as she was crying, and he was too. He was finally back. Her eyes returned fully back to normal. There was no longer a clock in sight. Thank you so much for watching this. I'll be sure to get you a part 5. Specialty on me, nothing to thank me. I love this what if. I hope that you too. Thank you, and I hope I'll see you guys sometime, somewhere. Goodbye, everybody.